Hello everybody, my name is Inez. Welcome back to my channel. I get asked pretty frequently, Inez, what do you do to get so flexible? Inez, how are you so flexible? How do I get so flexible? And today I'm going to show you that. I teach here in Maastricht where I currently live, and I get asked this all the time, how am I so flexible? Inez, how do you do it? So I'm going to show you. I am a Russian trained ballet dancer, right? I went through the Russian school. I have had teachers pushing me at my feet, and I have also self-motivated myself and pushed myself for years, which is why I still remain flexible. So I'm going to show you what I do. I'm going to share my advice. Yes, that's all. Let's get into the video. So first things first, you need to make sure that you are super warm. So do an ab workout. That is the best way to warm up. Also do some light jogging. You can do some jumping jacks, and make sure that you are really nice and warm before you start stretching. Stretching on cold muscles coming into the studio and just stretching straight away is never a good idea. Make sure you are nice and warm before you start doing some lunges and splits and whatnot. The one thing you need to know about flexibility is that it does not come overnight, okay? Slow and steady wins the race in this instance. The thing about flexibility for me is you really just have to hold it where it's uncomfortable and do it every single day. Do it every single day. Do not skip your stretching routine. This is what bodybuilders do, for example, right? They're like in the gym, and this, and they're all yoked and whatever, but they don't stretch afterwards. And then they're like, oh, I can't lift my arm. You know, but you're not stretching after your training, and you're also not stretching before your training. But especially if you're doing some heavy lifting, heavy weights, make sure you stretch afterwards. As you can maybe tell from my physique, I'm definitely not a heavy weights person. You have to hold it where it's uncomfortable, okay? And you have to do it every single day. Even if there is a day that you don't exercise, that's okay. Make sure you stretch for 20 to 30 minutes. That's going to make a huge difference. And yeah, consistency is key. Okay, discipline is your number one best friend. Let's get started. I'm going to show you everything that I do practically every single day. The first thing I like to do is warm up my shoulders and get my postures in place. So yes, a lot of the swinging of the arms forward and back, and also popping the shoulders forward, grabbing the elbow and going in for a nice little stretch, opening each side of my shoulder blades. I like to do some reaches. Make sure the key here is to reach behind your ear with a straight arm, as straight as possible. This is the key for me. I see a lot of people in my classes with so much tension in their shoulders, and that's really not good. I like to go over to the wall and do also these exercises, just really opening, looking into the ceiling. I like to walk forward, lift my leg, one leg at a time. And then I get started with some nice reaches forward, grabbing the legs behind, swinging from side to side, grabbing the elbows, and also doing the classic downward dog. But as you can see, I'm popping my shoulders each time. During my flexibility routine, I also love to stay warm, so I will always do a few intervals of exercises in between, holding a plank for an instance, just before I get into some more stretches. So this is really important for me. And now I will start my back flexibility routine. So it starts off here, nice and tall. I like to go from side to side, one arm reaching up. And as you see, I'm really trying to reach back here, really actively trying to reach as far out as possible. And then the thing about back flexibility is that it doesn't come without strength exercises, okay? So I do these every day, and I teach this as well at every single one of my classes. We do back lifts. So I do two variations, one behind the head and one with port de bras. I usually like to do 8 and 8. And if I'm training on my own, I might do a little bit more. If you are capable of doing this, this is also my go-to, switching from side to side in this back bend. This is really great. I always finish these off with a nice little child's pose. This is super important. Also some cat cows. It's really great. And a few more chest openers. These are super important for me. As you can see, I'm also reaching for that elbow again. I do these a couple of times in between my flexibility routine. So super important. I like to do a standard bridge. Sometimes I do it from standing up. I also do like to practice walkovers and whatnot. As you can see, I'm popping my shoulders forward here. This is so important for me. I do a lot of posture work in my flexibility routine. I like to go, reach forward again, and then you will see me go through my legs, pump a few times before I get on with my next set of exercises, which will be my hip openers. So sitting down, I like to go in for a nice twist one way, and then I put my hand in between, push off, and reach open to the back of the room. Then I will lift that leg on top and just reach forward. This is going to be a little bit of a tough cookie, but it's a great stretch. Really good for your hamstrings and whatnot. Everything has to be done on both sides, so make sure that you do your right and left. This is super important. And we're going to be walking out, reaching nice and tall, going forward. I like to hold these for a minute or two. These are really great stretches. And I also love to incorporate some active stretches, some bending and some straightening. Bending and straightening, reaching up, making sure I'm sitting nice and tall, opening up. Then I change the grip and I just yank that leg as much as I can, making sure I'm doing the other leg. As you can see, there is a bit of a difference between my right and my left, but I try my best. My flexibility routine is never complete without the standard frog stretch. I like to open my chest here a couple of times too, and then also reaching forward, making sure I take a nice big inhale in and then exhale out when I'm in correct position. I also like to pop my shoulders a few times. So in this stretch specifically, I am actually pushing my leg back. So I'm kind of turning out here as well and opening the hips up. Then I go into the standard stretch. I don't actually know what it's called, but make sure if you're doing this that your heel is on the floor. Do not do this with your heel up, because then you are working a completely different muscle group. Also, do not ever push on your knee. Only push above the knee, so don't push on the knee. I go into some lunges, place the leg down, and I like to reach outwards, and then also I'm gonna reach inwards towards myself just so I get both sides. And then I like to go for a little bit of back flexibility, reaching up and holding that. Then I'm going to sit back, flex my foot. If this is too much, you can sit beside your leg. I teach this at my class too. Some people have to do a few variations. Everyone is on a little bit of a different journey when it comes to flexibility. Make sure, as you can see in this video, to always do both sides. It's super important. Then walking out, sitting back, flexing that front foot, and going in for the nice stretch. Also make sure to hold everything really solid for a good while. Now when you go into your straddle, go as far as you can, but as you can see, my arm is reaching behind my ear, so I am not tensing my shoulders. I see this at every single one of my classes. People tense their shoulders to try and reach further. Don't do it. Do it correctly and slowly, and you will get more flexible with each class. So also the most important thing, the best stretch ever, is just this simple one. 2 legs in front of yourself, legs straight, and just reach forward, right? And then I always, after all of this shenanigans, I like to go into my splits. I like to do some twists. You can see me getting my arms in there and going in for a nice twist, reaching behind as well, and then going through the middle splits, going through the straddle, also popping my shoulders, usually reaching up to the ceiling, and then transferring to the other leg. I like to reach forward. I also like to go in for a twist, and then of course also reach backwards. And then I like to do this little variation of me going through the movement a couple of times. I've been loving this, going through the middle splits, reaching back, and again middle splits and reaching back. This is one of my favorites, and I cannot leave without reaching back with both hands. As you can see, one side is better than the other. Then I have to have in my routine chair/sofa flexibility. Here I am starting off with my left leg. As you can see, is not as good as my right, which I'm in right now, but this is super important for me. You have to hold these for a minute or two. When I was trying to get more flexible, I would watch TV in the splits. I would be on my phone in the splits. This is so important. You have to hold it where it is uncomfortable, and it will not stop hurting after like 10-20 seconds. I hold and I sit in my split sometimes for 3 minutes, 3, 4, 5 minutes. This is super important for me. After these variations, I always do standing stretches every single day, grabbing my leg, especially as dancers, figure skaters, gymnasts. You have to be able to have that stability and that balance while having that flexibility. So it's super important to do these little leg lifts, pulling the leg, hinging at the hips, pushing forward, and going in for that nice stretch. I always like to do a little needle. This is super important. I'm still working on straightening out the leg, but I haven't been successful yet. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope we can get flexible together, more flexible every single day. I'm sorry about the lighting change, but it's winter, so it gets really dark really quick, especially here in the Netherlands. I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember, slow and steady wins the race. So small baby steps every day. Make sure you don't pull anything. I know it's all about working hard and being disciplined and everything, but not for the sake of getting injured. So yes, stretching will hurt a little bit, but it should not hurt to the point where you're sobbing and you're crying. I actually do not approve of that at all. So I just want to say that. Stay safe and enjoy stretching.